biggest sleepovers I ever went to, story time. So when I was about 13 years old, I had this really good friend, and me and her had gotten close. Now, my parents were very overprotective, and they wouldn't just let me go stay with anyone, so I had to beg them for months to let me go spend the night with this friend. And it didn't help that she lived over an hour and a half away, but they finally agreed and let me go. Candace's dad died when she was 4, and her mom had remarried this weirdo that we'll call Chester. To start off, her mom and stepdad took us to the mall and told us to pick out some bikinis because we were going to be swimming in the pool. Her stepdad kept saying, don't worry about what it cost. I'm going to pay for it. Just get what you want. And then he started picking bikinis out with us. I was struggling because I'm 13. I don't have anything to work with, so I wanted a whole piece suit, but they kept trying to push the bikinis on me. Mom kept saying, you look so good in that bikini. Get that one. You're not a little girl anymore. And I was so confused. So later on that evening, the mom comes in the bedroom and says, why don't y'all come out and show off those bikinis you got? And I was like, I don't want to do that. I was so self-conscious because all of a sudden everybody wants to see my body, but I didn't want to share. And Candace said she didn't want to do it either, but her mom kept pushing. You know, we're all family here. Come on. Then she starts guilt tripping us by saying, he spent all that money on y'all and now you act like you don't appreciate it. You're going to make him feel bad. Is that what you want? So we come out and her mom and stepdad are sitting on the couch and they say, do a little walk and twirl. So we do. And then her stepdad says, you girls look amazing. Let me take a picture of y'all. So we get side by side and he pulls out a Polaroid camera and snaps a picture of us. So Candace reaches over to grab that photo from him and her stepdad says, no, I'm putting this one in our family photo album. And then him and her mom proceed to sit there and stare at the picture and talk about it. Bathing suits on and we get in her pool and her stepdad comes out and he sits on the deck and stares at us the entire time like some lovesick puppy. And when we get out, he follows us back in the house. When I change, Candace says, wait, I'll watch the door. I said, for what? She said, my stepdad, because he'll walk in on you and claim it's an accident. So we go into her bathroom, which is on the other end of the house, and he follows us and he stands outside the bathroom door trying to talk to us while we're changing. And Candace is like, dude, go away. And all throughout the day, Candace kept yelling at him to stop taking pictures of us with his little Polaroid camera. Like the whole time we were eating, he stared at us and kept talking about the way we put food in our mouth, and I was so creeped out I stopped eating. Me and her go into her room, and the whole night, her stepdad keeps trying to get us to come out and hang out with the adults. We stayed in her room so much that at one point, her stepdad comes in and says, she came to stay with all of us, Candace, not just you. I felt so bad for Candace because she just kept apologizing to me, and I just told her it wasn't her fault. Around 2 a.m., I wake up and I gotta pee really bad, so I stick my head out the bedroom door and I don't see nobody, so I go into the bathroom. I'm walking out of the bathroom back towards her bedroom, and right when I get to her door and put my hand on the knob, I hear somebody call my name, Alicia. And when I turn around, it's her stepdad, and he is butt-ass naked. Of course, I'm in shock. I mean, I'm 13. What do you do when something like that happens? Like, you don't know what to do. So he grabs a beer out the fridge and walks over and tries to give it to me, but I said no thanks. He said, it's okay, you can have it. We let Candace drink. We're the cool parents. We don't get mad about stuff like that. This naked 40-something-year-old man asked me if I want to go out in the garage and have a beer while his wife and daughter are sleeping in the other room. I run back into my friend's room, and I'm like, girl, your stepdad was just naked at the fridge. She said, oh my God, Alicia, I'm so sorry. And she started crying. He's such a dirty creep. I hate him. He does this to all my friends. That's why I don't ask people to come over anymore. So then I asked, does he molest you? And she says, yeah. I said, did you tell your mom? She said, yeah, but my mama don't care. She's obsessed with him, like infatuated. And like he's the man of the house in her eyes. He pays the bills. She's not going to do nothing about it. Well, now Candace is angry and she wants to confront her stepdad about what he just did to me. But I'm like, no, wait until he goes to work and then we'll talk to your mom in the morning and I'll tell her what happened. And maybe that'll be enough that she'll leave him. But boy, was I wrong. Y'all, no lie, this bitch tried to play me and told me, oh, it was an accident. He sleepwalks. Miss Betty told me that it was okay because he provided for her. They had a nice house, car, money. Her daughter had a good life because they were with him. She said there's a big difference between him walking around nude in his own home and touching you. They're not the same. Alicia, you should know that. He molested your daughter. She said, yeah, but he didn't molest you. She said, well, maybe if Candace didn't dress the way she does, he wouldn't be so tempted. Candace said, Mama, you always make excuses for him, saying he's sad, drunk, sleepwalking, on drugs, depressed, but never the truth. He's a pervert. And her mom worked at the plant making really good money, so we know she didn't need him to pay the bills. She was choosing to be with a predator, and she let him essay her daughter so he would stay with her. So her mom basically tells us that it's his house, he pays the bills, and he can walk around nude if he wants to, no matter who's there. And then she gives us a long speech about how, as women, we have to know our place. Her mom throws her hands up and says, look, enough about that. I'm taking y'all shopping. Chester gave me $1,000 to do whatever we want to do with, so of course now she's trying to buy her silence. So the second night, her mom and stepdad cut the radio on, and they start trying to get us to drink, and they sit us down and say, look, Alicia, you know you can't tell anyone about this. We'll let y'all party and have a good time, but you got to keep this to yourself. So I lied to them and just go along with it because I was so scared. I was like, yeah, no problem. I'm not going to say anything. And they kept pushing beers on us all night long, but I kept pouring mine down the sink. I weren't drinking. Later, he comes into her bedroom and he asks us, why ain't y'all in there hanging out with us? I thought we were going to party tonight. And we're like, no, we're going to bed. And he's like, no, come in here and drink with us. And we're like, no, we're going to bed. So we kind of have to push him out of the room because he's so damn persistent. And because he didn't get what he wanted, he gets an attitude and slams the door shut, goes in there and gets her mom, and then sends her mom in to try to coax us out. She comes in like, hey, girls, y'all need to come out and hang out with the family. Let's do family time. I had a feeling like her mom was trying to help him us or something. And what scared me was the fact that they didn't have a house phone, so I had no way to call my mom or call for help, and neither did Candace. Before they bring me home, Candace sits me down and begs me, as best friend to best friend, please, pinky square, to never tell anyone that I saw her stepdad nude or that he'd been molesting her, and I promised her. But as soon as they dropped me off, my mom knew something was wrong with me, so I told her everything. My mama, God rest her soul, she lost it. And she was so worried about Candace, she immediately called Candace's mother and went off on her. Her mama said I was lying because I was jealous of Candace. My mama said, don't you ever call my daughter a liar. I'll drive that hour and a half to come whoop your ass. Mama said, no, you just a weak ass who chooses over your own daughter. You handed her over to him on a silver platter. We reported it to the police and they said there wasn't enough evidence to ruin this man's life because it was all hearsay. Remember, this was back in the 90s. CPS did come out, but they interviewed Candace in front of her parents, so of course she got scared and said she was lying. I don't know why they didn't interview her by herself. Of course she wouldn't have told them anything while they were standing there. So a few months later, Candace moved in with her grandparents on her dad's side and she cut all contact with her mom. Candace still doesn't want to have a relationship with her mother because she doesn't trust her around her grandkids. Her stepdad died a few years ago, but me and her remain friends. We're still friends to this day.